Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we have been gathering together ever since the beginning of this pandemic as a refuge, as a sanctuary, if you will, to love and support each other through this crisis, to get out of the drama of this life. And we made it. We're on the other side of this now. And it's so great to be on this journey together with you and continuing this journey. But I think we're on the other side of this crisis. We are building and growing a new world of love and generosity and prosperity. None of us are the same as we were before the pandemic. I know for me and from some people that I work with, we are actually a lot more loving, a lot more open, a lot more just grateful for life in general. And that's really an exciting place to be. And so this month I've been doing something kind of fun. I've been interviewing and talking and inviting coaches and caregivers to come on our show. Extraordinary coaches and caregivers. From some people that I work with, we're actually a lot more. Come and join us and talk about what they're doing and their transformation and what they're doing to help and move this world into a better way of being. And I want to apologize for something. I don't know what happened, but my camera on my regular laptop just died just before I was about to go live. So I am coming today to you from on my iPad and on Wi-Fi. And it may not be quite as good as it is in the past. So for that, I'm so sorry. But I hope it's not going to stand in the way of this wonderful conversation I'm getting ready to have with my friend Chris Cooper. Chris Cooper is a coach, and I met him just a few weeks ago. He was hosting the Gay Coaching Alliance virtual conference, and I was so blown away, really, by the way they made this conference come off, and that inspired and motivated. I said, I got to have you come on my show and talk about what you do and how you're helping people and how you're changing the world and making it a better place for everybody. So I'm gonna get quiet here now, and I'm gonna just open it up for Chris. And Chris, you need to unmute your phone. I see you're still muted. If you need to, maybe, yeah, there you go. I'm gonna invite, and also I want to invite you, if you're listening, do me a favor and just type into the chat. Let me know you're here. Give us your name so we can, I know who you are, because all I see is a number on the board, and I really want to know who you are. I want to know your name. So, and if you have any comments for us, we'll be glad to take a minute and stop and say hello and answer your questions. So, Chris, I'm going to get quiet now, and I'm going to give this over to you and let you tell the world how you got here.
Yeah, thanks, Martin, and thank you so much for inviting me onto your show. It's a real pleasure, a real honour to join you today for this. And likewise, it's been a real pleasure to meet you at the recent Gay Coaches Conference and get to know you and be part of this fantastic show that you're doing. So yeah, it's great to be here today. So yeah, so in terms of me and giving you a little bit of a background to me and the work that I do. So I've been working in coaching now for coming up to 6 years. And I've had a real kind of journey of different transformations that I've got through in my life to get to this point. So the work that I do is primarily as a career coach and also in conscious leadership as well. And really, there's different phases that I went through in my life, lots of different career changes that I had, which led me to the point where I am now. And I'm really passionate in the work that I do about helping other people to find that sense of fulfillment within their careers, to feel like they're fully aligned, fully congruent with their values, and making sure that in terms of the way that they spend so much of their time, it's something that really, is part of what they do, where they feel that passion for that. Because I've seen so many friends as well as my clients get stuck in jobs which they really don't like doing, some cases really hate doing, and I've been in some jobs in the past whereby they were great at the start, and then it kind of transformed along and got to a point where I wasn't happy. And with the last job that I was in before I do what I do now, I was reaching the point of burnout with that one. So because I've been in that situation and seen it so many times, I kind of recognise that I do have this gift for, or this aptitude for kind of changing careers and finding new ways of doing different things in quite different areas. That I wanted to be able to use that to be able to help people do a similar thing. And then that's developed further into working within organisations and kind of building upon my other passion, which is all about transformation within the world and creating a better world for our generation and future generations. So it's a much fairer place where people are able to thrive.
Yeah, I love that. And what a transformation we've all been through in the last year. We've all been through there's my dear friend Mindy. Hey, Mindy, how are you doing? I missed you. You haven't been around in a while, and I'm so glad that you're here. Mindy has been, she's a loyal fan of our show. She's been here since the beginning. And actually, Mindy and I go back to the days when we met when she was one of my food captains at Ground Zero after 9/11. She and I both worked down there together. We had a great thing, got to know and became good friends. And so, Mindy, thank you for joining us today. It's really always a joy to see you here. And I just want to comment on something you said, a couple of things. The word transformation. It is maybe because I'm in the world of coaching, so I hear, and that's what coaches do. We help people transform, and I would define that for people who don't really understand it. What for me transformation was, and it was changing my image of how I see myself in the world, how I see my creator in the world, and how I see the world itself. And I went from seeing, for me as a prosperity coach, I went from seeing the world, meaning myself as coming from a place of lack and not good enough and not worthy and all those kind of things. And I was actually trying to make money to prove that worth. And then I also viewed my creator, God, you could call it. Some people, I do call it God, not everybody does. It was something judgmental. It wasn't a loving, benevolent, caring creator of me. It was someone that was judging me, kind of, in a way. That's what I learned about God, and I saw the world as a place of lack, a place of having to struggle and get to the top and earn my way up to the top because it just wasn't enough to go around. And I call that the scarcity mindset. That's just living in scarcity. But having gone through a similar transformation that you did, all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, all that stuff's a lie. I'm not. There's nothing lacking in me. I'm an amazing, and you are too. We're all amazing. Just being human, just being born in itself is of a. And then that God is. We are that God. We are that. That's our essence. That's the creative, benevolent, loving creator of ourselves. And when we shift that, then all of a sudden the world becomes an abundance of resources to help us and guide us into life and have careers and do things that we love and make a difference in the world. That's what I'm hearing in your story. And right now you're doing something so helpful because I imagine, I hear it all the time after the last year, and I want you to comment a little on this, is that we've gone through a transformation and people had a kind of a timeout and they said, wait a minute, that job, I'm not going back to that job I didn't like. I'm worth more than that. My life is more precious than that. And I got something deeper in me that I need to bring out to the world. And I need a coach to help me figure that out. Would that be kind of what you would do?
Yeah, isn't that fundamental to the work that we do as coaches? It's about helping people recognize the strengths that they have within them already, assuming that people have the strength to be able to do this. But people can be in a point where they don't always be able to recognize that for themselves. Mm-hmm. And so the skill in that work is to be able to help people recognize what's there already, the things that they can't already see, and opening their eyes to those strengths, those talents, those gifts that they have, and then being able to utilize those in a way that's different from the way they might have been doing up until this point to create the future that they want for themselves.
Yeah, I wonder if you've got a good story of transformation from one of your clients where you got to have that excitement and that feeling. I know for me, when one of my clients has that great breakthrough, and I wonder why we call it coaches and caregivers, because we are caring for our clients to get through that journey that's often painful, because we have to look at those parts of ourselves. We have to look at, well, how do we get in that place in the first place? So if you got a good story of a client that you've worked with that's gone from being in one place and through through your love and support and care, you've got them to get through a breakthrough. Tell us, you don't need to tell their name, but you can make up a fictitious name if you like, so we can protect the innocent. But tell us a story or two about some of the occurrences and breakthroughs that would inspire us.
Yeah, well, a couple of the guys who I've been working with, which spring to mind. So one guy who just was coming up to 60 years of age when we started working together. He'd been working with the NHS here in London for 25 years. Had done his training as a therapist, but he was at that point of wanting to step out and set up his own business. However, having some of those limiting beliefs and not believing he was good enough to be able to do it, when actually, you know, he was tremendously skilled at what he does, and had done a lot of this work already, you know, within the NHS, working for somebody else. But it can be different sometimes for people stepping out on their own and recognizing that they can do this, and they've got this value, these gifts that they can offer to other people. So through the work that I've been doing with him over about an 18-month period, it's about helping him build up those resources, building up that confidence, to be able to realize that yes, the time is now to be able to start doing this by himself. And then the very practical steps of actually, you know, what does it look like to set up your own business, and then guiding him through that. Because, you know, if you've never done it before, it's quite a hard thing to do. I know for me, when I was taking these steps years ago to set up my own business, you know, it was very much a learning process. I was quite fortunate because being an operations director in an SME here in the UK, I understood what it was like to set up a business, because I'd done that from the inside of another organisation. So it was good for me to be able to help him, you know, on the very kind of practical side of things as well. You know, all about, you know, creating a website and putting together a marketing plan and all of the other stuff that goes towards setting up your own business. So he's now at the point now where he's launching his therapy business, which is really exciting. And, you know, and I love it. I mean, I get such a kick out of this when you can see how people develop over time, and you can see that they really change as a person. You can see the confidence growing, and how they start to realize that they're able to do things which they didn't believe were possible before. So that's one guy. And then another guy who I've just been working with very recently over the last few weeks, down in London, working in two different jobs. One as a PT, something that he absolutely loves, working in fitness as a trainer. But for many years, he'd also worked for his dad in a family business as a carpenter, something which he didn't really love, but didn't have the confidence to be able to be able to, you know, step out from that and pursue the thing that he really loves doing, which is fitness. So just over the course of 5 weeks of working together, he's decided that yes, the fitness is what he really wants to pursue, and he's making the steps to move into that area. And, you know, he just had this realization when we spoke last week, you know, actually I can really do this. I'm worth it. The clients I've been working with, they really value me for the work that I do, and I can work with more people, serve more people as well. And it's just great to be able to see that change in literally, I say, just 5 weeks. He's moved from the place he was at before, of just that place of self-doubt and lots of limiting beliefs about his being able to do this work full time and pursue what in his heart of hearts he loves to do, to now, you know, really excited and moving forwards and doing that.
Yeah, I love those stories. And, you know, what's coming up for me is that I've recently hired. So I've had coaches most of my life, and it wasn't until I recently hired and really spent some money and joined this team of coaches. Kelly Roach runs it. It's called the Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. And so when you're telling this story, what's relating to me is where I was a few months ago in my career. Even though I decided to become a coach probably in 2018, it wasn't until I got these coaches to help me see through my obstacles and give me the guidance every day. Because it's not like once you get it, oh my God, I got this great gift. Now what do you do with it? I need some help. I need someone that can see in me, who's been there before me, to show me, okay, this is what you do. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. So it's really important. And what I have learned, and I've got a coach now. One of my big dreams is to do a TEDx talk, and it kept sitting out there, and said, well, I don't know how to do it. And I didn't know how to do it. That's the truth. I didn't know how to go get a TEDx talk. So I hired a TEDx coach, And this team of coaches, now I want you to tell you that last week I submitted 20 applications, really well. We put together the applications, and I put together those applications and sent them to 20 different organizations, asking them if they'd like me to come do a talk at their event. And I'm going to probably send out another 80 between now and the next in July, because I think they say you need to send out about 100 to get it. But I didn't know all that. And I'm just so excited, but I had a dream to be a TEDx, give a TEDx talk as part of my legacy, is what I want to do in the world. And so when you were telling that story about not having the confidence and not knowing how to leave the carpentry job and actually go out and be a fitness, yeah, you can't do it alone. Mm-hmm. And even us coaches, I'm telling you, I need lots of coaching. I couldn't do this without coaching, you know?
Yeah, that's it. You know, as coaches, we know the process for ourselves, and you know, we know how to help other people. But yeah, we have coaches too, and that's what people start working with them. I have a coach as well. It's part of it. It's part of that ongoing personal and professional development that we do.
And another great thing about having coaches is that they give me ideas that I can pass on to my clients. Of course, you know,
paying it forward.
We play it all forward. That's the name of the game, and it certainly is certainly fun. I'm going to ask you something here. I'm going to jump out of that, and I'm going to ask you during the big timeout of last year. This is something I always love to hear from people like you, who I think are extraordinary doing. I mean, coaching is kind of an ordinary thing, really. It's not all. It's just listening, really, listening and really finding out where they're here. But it takes an extraordinary person like you to be able to do that and hold that kind of transformational space. And so I want to know, on your level, what wonderful thing did Chris learn about Chris during the big pandemic, during that timeout where we had to sort of get still and our whole lives were disrupted. And how are you different? What wonderful thing have you learned about yourself, and how has Chris transformed as a result of the pandemic?
I think there's been an element of self-acceptance in certain areas, or being able to filter out more of the noise and just be even more focused on the mission I have in the work that I do. I think there's also an element of me feeling more confident in the work that I do as well, because you know when it all started, around March of 2020, some of the work that I was doing at the time dropped off, because as well as working in coaching, I work in training as well, and delivering training in person, and that was dropping off, and it's easy to think, okay, I'm losing work here. How's this going to be working going forwards? But I actually just needed to trust in the work that I do, and actually my business built up much more strongly within the space of a few months. I had a couple of quiet months at the start of the pandemic, but then soon things built up stronger than they had been before. So it's trusting the process, and when you're on a particular journey and you're really committed to it, things will happen when you put in the energy in that direction. And sometimes there will be a couple of steps which don't go in the way that you want them to go. But it's recognizing, there are a couple of steps in a long journey, and it's actually that whole, the longer term process, which is much more important.
Yeah, it sounds like to me there's a lot of resilience in there, that really when things don't go the way you expect them to go, that you can take a step back and say, well, what can I learn from this? What is it that I need to let go of so that I can get some traction? Because we all get disrupted from there's shiny objects in the world that come our way and all kinds of stuff. And we all get distracted from things that take us off our mission, if you will. So I want you to talk a little bit about your big mission. We mentioned it in the write-up. Talk a little bit about your mission in the world. What do you want to do to what kind of world do you want to help create out there, Chris?
Yeah. So for me, it's all around conscious leadership. So that's creating change and transformation for a better world. So leadership, sometimes people think about leadership as just being within an organizational context, but it's wider than that. It's being a leader in your own life and thinking about all of the decisions that you make and the impact that they have not only on yourself, but on your community, society, the world in general, and making decisions which enable you to have the impact on the world that you want to have. So so starting with yourself, but then also thinking about from a workplace context, thinking about the work that you do, and then the impact that you can have within that type of role. So working within leaders to change the culture within organizations, so they're actually thinking about all of the stakeholders that are involved, because so many businesses unfortunately do focus on that short-term profit motivated way of working, which just isn't sustainable in the long term. So it's really important for me in the work that I do in helping leaders recognize the importance of valuing the team of people that work there, valuing their clients and their customers and what they want, thinking about their suppliers as well, and also thinking about the role that they play as an organisation in the community, and also the impact that business has on the wider world as well. So that's what conscious leadership is all about. So that's my mission, and I'll be taking this forward, ramping it up, and working with more organisations. So I want ultimately in decades to come, when I come towards the end of my career, that I know that through the work that I've done, I've helped all these organisations to make this change, and the world is better, maybe in some small way, through the work that I've done.
I love that. I love the way you define conscious leadership. It's becoming conscious of who we are as leaders, and being able to hone those skills. And when I'm working with a CEO of a corporate, I'm not really so much well, I guess if I'm working with the CEO, I'm helping the leader of that business, right? So I never even thought about it that way. But the skills that I really want to work with is and make my clients who are CEOs, and whether it's a business of, it's got 100 people or a business of 2, that they're a CEO, you need the same skills to lead that organization. And the 4 that I think that are so important, I don't care if you're leading a country or leading a team of 2, which I'm leading me and a team and a virtual assistant. Basically, that's my team right now, which is great. It's a perfect team. But the skills that I want to hear your thoughts about this, are the 4 skills, the 4 pillars that I like to lean on. Is 1, trust and transparency. They've got to be able to tell the truth. People got to trust what they say is actually what's going on, to follow them. The second one is empathy. They've got to be able to feel what it feels like to be another person. They've got to feel what it feels like to be led and to lead. The third one is compassion. They have to be able to be compassionate. Sincerely compassionate in the way they lead and the way they make decisions. And the fourth, which I think most leaders tend to spend too much time on, is competency. Their actual competency to run. And I'm not saying that's less than, but I think I see often a lot of people worry so much, am I good enough? Am I competent enough? So they focus so much more on competence that they forget about the other 3. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, well, all the points that you've been describing, Martin, that they all form part of emotional intelligence. So, the real starting point is developing all of those areas of emotional intelligence. So thinking about the way that you use your own emotions and how your map of the world relates, and how you're able to manage and use your emotions in the right way that are most beneficial for you and other people. And then kind of expanding that out in terms of the social skills and the way that you interact with other people as well. So a big part of the work that I do is helping my clients develop their emotional intelligence. And the great thing about EI is the fact that it can be developed, and people don't always know.
It can be. As a matter of fact, I think it is always developed and cultivated and mastered. It's I call it, those are skills we master, and again, that's why we need coaches. I need coaches to help me master those skills for what I do as a leader. And and you're right. Emotional intelligence is the key to leadership in the world. And if we don't, and I think so many leaders right now, particularly if you're in an illusion that your position is a position of power over others, you're disconnected from your own emotional intelligence, because that's fear you're going to lose power. But a good leader is secure in knowing it's not his position that gives him power. It's that inner strength. It's that inner wisdom that they've got everything they need to love and care and compassionately lead their organization, their people, their family, whatever it is they're leading, from a place of truth and compassion, empathy, and just being able to hone skills that require you to be a leader, listening and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, and what you were describing there, that leadership based upon fear. So you may be instilling fear into other people, but there's also come from a place of personal fear in terms of
Right.
leading like that, and really it's about moving towards more of a servant leadership approach when you're recognizing that your role is to serve other people.
Yeah, we're all learning about that in our country right now. We've just gone from what I call a very narcissistic leader to finally electing some people who are leading from all who lean in well to all the. I mean, Joe Biden and our president today is clearly, to me, a leader who I trust. I mean, the difference that very first day when his press secretary came out and just told the truth. This is what's going on today. This is what we got to deal with. It's like there's nothing to hide here. This is what we're doing, and he's the king of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
He is the king of it. So he feels the pain this country's going through and the world is going through. It just exudes out of him when he talks, and that invokes the compassion. And for God's sake, he's had 60 years or 50, however many years, 60 years or something in government. So he's certainly got the competency to do it. So I just feel really fortunate that we've got, and since America, the truth is we are one big superpower, but we're not. It's not because we're powerful because of our position. We're powerful because we have all those strengths, and I think it's good for the world. It's good for ourselves, and good for the future of humanity that we finally have people leading our country, a president and an administration, and people in power, in positions of power, who have an inner power to lead and move us to a new better world.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, for me, being based in the UK, but when it was the election last year, I've never paid such close attention to a US election as last year. And I echo everything that you say there. It's great that there is now a leader in place who has so much empathy, and I think there's a strength there. The fact that Joe Biden's got so much experience, that he's lived through so many different times, and so he can speak from that as well. And then with having Kamala Harris as well, someone who again I see is I read her autobiography last year, and I feel like she's got so much personal integrity as well in the way that she works as well. And so it's great to have that team, in place now. As your president and vice president, I'm a little bit envious looking over from the UK to the US system.
Well, maybe
what we've got right now.
Maybe we'll help inspire what the outcome of your next election, because it certainly does. It certainly does feel better being here in America than it did a year ago. I can tell you that. Yeah. It just feels so much better to wake up in the morning knowing we've got people leading the country who actually care about us. I mean, I guess can't tell you how much it just feels great. It just feels so much better. And I want to make a comment about women, and I'm so grateful for how many women are. We are entering the age of Aquarius, is also the age of the divine feminine, the age of women. And just look at all, like you mentioned Kamala Harris, our vice president, but look at all the women in leadership roles who are just naturally caring, nurturing, and they're nurturing this wounded world, I would say, into healing and connection and love and prosperity in a way that no one else can do it. And I think that just needs to be recognized and acknowledged and appreciated, that we finally got a group where we're like, yeah, women, we need that divine feminine in the world. And it doesn't have to be a woman. I think you and I possess that. I call her Joy the Wise Woman. So we've all got that part of ourselves that has nothing to do with our gender. Our gender. It has to do with tapping into that inner caring, that part of us that does care and does have empathy and compassion and those kinds of qualities that are moving this world into what I call prosperity living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's so fantastic that in the government, you know, you've got so many women and people of color as well. People of so much breadth of lived experience, which is so crucial. I mean, it creates cognitive diversity, which is the topic I was talking about a few weeks ago at the Gay Coaches Conference. And when you have a group of leaders who were all very similar backgrounds, how can they possibly represent a nation, and particularly a nation as broadly diverse demographically as the US? So it's absolutely vital that this team like that is in place right at the top.
Yeah, and we've got. I think what's really amazing to me is this: out of the other party, the one that's not quite awoke yet, they make fun of us for this. You know, we've got a woman, lesbian, leading who is speaking truth to power in the other party right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing to me that we've got a woman is the first one within that power structure, within that party, to get up and speak truth to power. And it's refreshing. I don't agree with, we need a two-party system, and we're going to all have a different view of how we get there. But I think Liz Cheney, from watching her, has got those qualities we just spoke about, and she's a different kind. But again, it's a woman, and it's just amazing to me that women are the one that have the courage right now. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is a powerhouse. She's a fierce powerhouse. And you put her personal power in her position of power, and they're changing the world. They are changing the world. Yeah, standing ovation. I can't believe I'm saying this about Dick Cheney's daughter. I mean, but let's give her a standing ovation for stepping up and speaking truth to power, because we need that. We need a two-party system, and maybe even a three-party system. We need people who will take those four qualities we just talked about and lead the world. And in our organizations, we have the woman who runs General Motors. She came out and she said, we're gonna have electric cars by 20 whatever in some short period of time. It's not about regulatory. It's like it's good business.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it was really interesting to read a piece of research which was done sort of late summer, early fall last year, and it examined the countries who had done best within that first wave of the coronavirus pandemic, and it showed that the countries that had female leaders, generally speaking, did a lot better than those with men as leaders. They tended to have a long-term approach, and yes, look at New Zealand.
I mean, they set the world on fire. Well, I can't believe it. I'm looking at the clock, and I knew when I got on the phone, I knew you and I would have if we got going, it would be hard to get quiet. But now is the time for our meditation time. So I'm going to invite you to just sit back and relax and be my meditation audience, if you will. It's much easier for that. And I'm going to guide us through a 20-minute meditation. And it's going to look a little bit like this. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to fix something here. Say, okay. I don't know why that's not working, but we're going to see. Anyway, all my technology today, Chris, just seems to be giving me a difficult time. But we don't need to there's the bell. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something called centering prayer. And what that means is we're going to center all of our energy around the heart space. We're going to move from all of our thinking and plotting and stories in our head. We're going to actually consciously, with the help of the breath, we're going to move our awareness into heart space, because the heart space is where we connect to everything in life. It's kind of a beacon, if you will. And so one of the things we do is, people think when you meditate that you're actually going to stop thinking. Well, you're not going to stop thinking. As long as you're alive, you're going to think, and you don't want to stop thinking. But we can slow it down, and we want to create some space around the thoughts so that we have an ability to create and come from have a new beginning, have a new way of seeing the world that we can leave with in 20 minutes. Oh, whatever it was that yesterday is no longer now. Now I have a new, fresh way of being, so I can begin to create from a whole new place. And so one of the ways we slow down the brain is through When we think, our tongues vibrate. So one of the ways that we can slow down the thinking is to reverse engineer it and relax the tongue. And the way I like to teach people to do this, and the way I do it, is to take the tip of your tongue and relax it on the roof of your mouth, just behind your front teeth. Slightly part your lips, relax your jaw, and just feel the sensation of the breath floating over in and out over the tongue as a gentle massage to relax the tongue. And just do that for a few minutes and just see and notice what happens when you begin to just focus all your energy on breathing and massaging your tongue. Something just that simple. And if a thought comes up, just go back to breathing and relaxing the tongue and massaging the tongue. And we don't have to do anything but just be still for a moment. The brain's just running around, and just ask it to quiet down a little bit. And use the breath to kind of distract it. Come back to breathing. Come back to massaging the tongue. Getting real present to just this moment, because this is the only moment there actually is. And the closer and closer and closer we get to this moment with our breath, the wider and the wider our heart becomes. We actually expand the heart with the breath. So just allow yourself to get still and breathe. There's nothing else you have to do. No effort whatsoever. No place you have to get to. Just letting go. Just letting go of any thoughts in our heads, any beliefs and judgments. And as you're getting still and you're breathing, just notice any emotions you might be feeling in your body right now. We actually carry emotions in our body. So just kind of breathe and kind of begin to sort of scan your inner landscape. Notice any breathing or any tension, any feelings you might be having. Could be feelings of joy. Could be feelings of gratitude. Could be feelings of shame. Love them all. Welcome them all. Hold them all like little children, because they're your feelings. And they deserve to be loved, each and every one. So just breathe. And we're going to do 3 what I call belly breaths to just create a little bit more space inside ourselves. And that looks like this. With our belly muscles, with the muscles in our belly, we're going to pull the breath in through the nose and through the mouth. We're going to gently massage the tongue with the breath, bring it down into our throats, expand the heart, and with the belly muscle, pull that breath deep into your belly to anchor yourself in the chair. Ready? Let's go. Breathe in. Your belly muscles pull the breath deeper in. Expand the belly if you need to. Create all the space you need. Hold it till it gets a little uncomfortable, maybe. Now just let it go. Release it all. Let all the air out. And as you do, let go of any thoughts, any beliefs, any opinions you may be carrying about me, about Chris, about yourself. Just let everything go. Hold on to nothing. And allow yourself to just come back to the breath, gentle massaging of your tongue, and let go and fall back into that gentle, gentle, loving arms of the Divine Mother, your Creator within you. That infinite, spacious love, infinite love, creative energy. Just allow that to be. You don't have to do anything or look for it. Whatever that is, it's unique to you, because that's you. We're going to do, there's that bell. Allow the bell, the vibration of the bell, to pull you inside deeper. And we're going to do another belly breath. Ready? Pull the breath in through the nose and the mouth. With the belly muscles, pull it down deep into the belly and just hold it for a second. A little bit more in, make more space. Let it all go. And again, let go of any thoughts of which you might be ashamed, any beliefs that you have judgment about being good or bad, right or wrong. Don't hold on to anything. Let go of everything. Just let it all go. And just allow yourself to be content, just being alive in this moment. Breathing, the gentle rise and the fall of the rib cage. The energy of life through your body. What's it like to be you from the inside? We're going to do one more belly breath. And then I'm going to be quiet for the rest of the meditation, except for the interval bells, the wake-up bells. And those sweet little bells are there to wake us up from our thinking, our plotting, our worrying, maybe even our sleeping. So when you hear the bell, the invitation is to just, wake up, let go of any thinking, and just fall back into love. So you ready? Here we go. The one last belly breath. Pull with your belly muscles, pull the breath in through the mouth, and through the nose, across the tongue. Open the heart a little and then pull it deep into your belly. Hold it a little bit longer, maybe a little uncomfortable. And just let it go and just be still. Just let go of any final thing you're holding on to. And just be grateful for the moment. Fall back into the infinite, infinite love of your essence. there's that sweet bell, that interval bell to wake us up from our sleeping, our thinking, our worrying, our stories. And the invitation is just to smile at all that stuff and just let it all go. And allow yourself to fall up into love. There's another one of those interval bells to wake us up so we can reset. We can let go of our thinking, wake up from our sleeping, our worrying, our stories, all that occupation in our heads. And the invitation is just to smile at that brilliant brain of yours and just let it go. Give it a rest. Give it a break. Just let go of everything and gently fall back into love. And that's the bell. Bring us back to down. Bring us back to the outside world. Maybe a little more grounded, a little more open, feeling a sense of power. Less caught up in our heads and our list of things to do. Maybe we have a new list of things to do now. My friend, see you later, Mindy. Thank you for joining us today. It was great to have you here. And Chris, it was just a joy having you here. And I'd like to give you a chance to tell the world how we can get in touch with you, because there are people who may want to get to know more about you. They want to maybe talk to you about coaching. And I'd love for people to know how to find you. What's the best and the easiest way for people to find you, Chris?
Yeah, thank you, and I really enjoyed that meditation there. And right now it's coming. It's around 6 o'clock in the UK here, and it's so nice to do something like that at this time to process all your thoughts from during the day. So thank you for that. In terms of getting in touch with me, if people would like to know more about the work that I do, you can check out my website, which is lifecompletecoaching.com. And you can reach out and book a conversation with me if you think I could help you with where you may be right now in terms of the work that you're doing, or where you are in life, or the business that you have. So yeah, check out lifecompletecoaching.com and get in touch if I can help.
And I think you've got a Facebook page. I know a personal page, Chris Cooper, right?
That's right. Yes.
And
And
if they forget all about, and they forget the name of your website, you can just send you a direct message on Chris Cooper, and I bet you'd be happy to respond, right?
of course, yes, yes.
Okay.
Good old Facebook.
Yeah, I love Facebook. It's a great medium. So hold on, I want to close this out and make a few announcements myself, and then we'll talk for a few minutes backstage. Just 1 second. So I want to make everybody aware of something that I've got coming up on June the 7th. As many of you know, I am a spiritual teacher and a prosperity and mindset coach working with gay, transgender, and bisexual men, highly motivated entrepreneurs and business leaders who really want to take their business to the next level. And I'm so excited to be offering a free 5-day transformational workshop coming on June the 7th. I will tell you more about that later, but I want you just to go ahead and mark your calendar, because if you're really ready to live a life of clarity and purpose and create some financial abundance with ease, you don't want to miss this workshop. So that's for that community, and I have a particular Facebook group for our community, and there's a reason for that. Is because our inner work is different than women's. It's got its own healing. We have our own wounds, if you will. So I created a safe space for us to heal our wounds. It's not meant to be discriminatory. It's just we have specific wounds as gay men that we need to work with, and I create a safe space for that to happen. And that's in the financial heart space Facebook group for gay, transgender, and bisexual men. However, I don't want to forget anybody. I have another group that's welcome for everyone to come and get to know each other and share in the same teaching. And that's called the Financial Mystics Sanctuary. And everybody's welcome to come there. And I do workshops and there, free works and trainings there as well. So I wanted to make you aware of that. So if you're not a member of those groups yet, please join us on the inside and be a part of that. I look forward to having you in this free 5-day journey coming up in June. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, may love and prosperity prevail. Thank you.